Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to a new wonderful development session, live development session. This is the first time that I'm doing Thunderbird live development session, but we'll see how it goes. I need to organize a couple of things. So just let me hide these. Let me turn on my beautiful face. Hey, look at that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful live streaming. I don't know how many of you are out there, but we'll see how this goes. I'm sorry for the crappy quality of my camera. I don't know if you can figure it out. Like I bought a super cheap green screen and I've tried to filter it out, but it doesn't really work well because of course there's different light coming from the window and from the light in front, so it's not a flat green. You can see like the black here is not super visible, but hopefully it's not super annoying. Hello from Germany. Hello. Hi everyone, welcome joining. So in this live streaming, what we're gonna do, I'm working for Thunderbird, so I'm gonna literally show you what I'm doing. I have a couple of bugs that I have to fix today, and we'll see a little bit of the updates that we've been doing at Thunderbird, the process of how to fix a bug, test it, submit it for a review, and all the other good stuff. So let's get started. Let's not spend any more time, but first let me grab a little sip of coffee because it's morning here, so I need some energy. How's everybody doing today? Of course. Coffee and choking. That's the title of this video. Okay, let's get started. First of all, Bugzilla. We had a report of a very annoying bug of the new icons not properly updating on the dark variation. When you activate, this happens only on Linux. When you activate this dark theme on Linux, if you're a Manjaro, Arch, whatever, Ubuntu, you activate the dark variation, the icons don't update. So we have a fix. I worked on a fix. First of all, let me show you a little bit of differences. So first, this is Thunderbird 68, which is the outdated version. You can see here there are these very old icons, images, PNG. It's not even a PNG, it's like one single JPEG image, and then we used to move the background to focus or just point the icons in the right direction. But with the new version of Thunderbird, we got I think you just heard the notification. We got these, yeah, you see, review granted. Oh, I got a review granted. Perfect. Awesome. So the new version of Thunderbird allows you, it comes with SVG icons, new updated icons that match the brand identity, and these are the photon icons. They come from Firefox. We created some custom, but they're way easier to manage, way lighter, way faster, and also you can color customize this. You can click property, and you have the color customization of each folder if you want. The problem is that, not the problem, but the good thing about this is that if you switch to a dark theme for Thunderbird, these icons, since they're full SVG, we can update the color. So we turn them from black to white in order to increase the visibility and accessibility and all the other good stuff, and which is good. It works perfectly, and this works perfectly on Mac OS and Windows. The problem on Linux is that if we change the Linux theme, so for example, I open GNOME Twix and I change from elementary to elementary dark, you can see the icons are still dark-ish blue. They're not properly updated like if I add, and also like the pages, like the custom pages, like the properties inside, they didn't update like it happens when we have a dark theme enabled. And this is bad. This shouldn't happen. This doesn't happen on Windows and macOS. It happens only on Linux. So what I did here, first of all, let me change back to elementary regular. What I did here, got more emails. Checking data TB. Yeah. We I created a patch to detect if the operating system or the platform is Linux, and we literally do a calculation of the luminance of the contrast of the text of the sidebar text, and if the contrast of the sidebar text requires a dark variation, dark background, we automatically apply the dark. We forced a dark mode on the application. So we got a bunch of the patches. Okay, the first one is the Linux Dark patch. Perfect. So here I have, for example, should be this. Yes, in this situation here, I'm detecting if the app is Linux and the user is on the default theme, because if the user is on a dark theme or a light theme, we only want to tweak the theme only if the user just has it set to default. We don't want to change if the user has a custom theme or anything else, so we don't want to tweak anything. Here we grab the color and we do a little bit of a luminance contrast test to see if requires a bright text or it doesn't. So with this patch applied, we can compile our software here, make build. Oh, it's beautiful not having a background. Look at that. You can see everything behind me. It's phenomenal. Compiling. Yeah, 13 seconds. Okay, if we run now this new version, of course, it's pretty identical, pretty similar, but if once again we access the GNOME tweaks here and we change to dark, and then we focus, look at that, bloof, it changes automatically. And also the pages inside automatically, even if I'm still on the default theme and not on the dark theme, the pages inside and all the icons and everything probably, it follows the operating system dark variation, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted. So also if we switch back to our regular theme, automatically everything updates, which is phenomenal. So, okay, we have this fix. We have this. Now we have to export it into a diff or a patch file, and once we do that, then we can upload it to Bugzilla to get a review, and then after we get a review we can push it, and after we push it I'm going to show you what super cool things happen, because we have an automated system in here. Patches, let me check if the patch is correct. We have this. I have to update the commit message because I received couple of different reviews. So Q refresh, update the commit with -m, and this is the new commit. Fixed dark theme variation for Linux OS. The review was done by KMLN, and the UI review was done by Pane or Richard. Okay, so export. This is a thing that we have in place. Whenever we detect a bug and someone takes up on a bug and takes care of uploading the patches, then you have to ask multiple reviews. You cannot land a patch in the core source code without having multiple reviews, or at least one review. So in this case, because it was both a technical variation and a UI variation, I had two different reviews, one from the technical director, the other from the theme module owner, which is the person that takes care of being sure that the theme looks good. So we can attach the new updated file here, patches, Linux Dark, and we already got a positive review and a UI review from two of them. So again, submit. Okay, the Bugzilla automatically shows you the diffs, so you can see what things changed, what things were updated, what things were deleted. So good stuff. Now that the patch has been reviewed and approved, I set the review plus because it was reviewed already before. I had to just update the commit message, and you can double check the commit message here. It's correct. The bug number is correct, 1678029, which is perfect. Now we can edit. and mark a keyword as check-in needed TB. So automatically, once we do that, we push the patches, we land the patches on our trunk, on our like daily installation once every 6 to 8 hours, something like that. And each one of us is in charge of specific time to land patches. But if you set this, you can do a research, like a quick search in Bugzilla to all the patches that need to be checked in. You can load them and then push them. Once we push a patch, we use this cool little thing called tree herder that it's from Mozilla, I think. Whenever we land something, automatically this system first does a linting check. So it lints all the code. It checks if your code formatting is correct, if you use the proper variables name, blah, 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 everything that we check. And then we do a build of every single possible operating system that we support. So we build for Windows 2012 or Windows 10, Windows 7, Mac OS, and Linux. We build both for 32 and 64-bit, if I'm not wrong. And after we build it, all these BBBB is build, we run some tests. We have a lot of tests. We have XPC shell test and Moki test. Before we had Marionette test, and then XPC we changed to Moki test. These orange thing is when a test fails, and then we have automatically the report of what failed, where it failed, timeout, like what was the cause. So you can check if it's actually the test that failed or if is the code that changed and it's not actually working. Sometimes, in some occasion, when we update things, we don't update the test. So it's the actual test that needs to be updated in order to pass and follow the new approach. But usually, sometimes it's the code that's just something was broken along the way. And it's such a massive application that it's pretty. Unfortunately, it's kind of normal to break things once in a while. But the tree looks pretty good. Looks pretty green. We have also the try branch where we can push, like I can, before landing something, I can push a test and we can compile. And for example, if you want to check only the Linux patches or the macOS tests, like for example, I was fixing these issues for macOS here, I just pushed and run the tests for Linux and macOS just to be sure that these tests were proper. I didn't, these issue wasn't affecting Windows, so I didn't need to run and compile everything for Windows. So it's a pretty good automated system. It's not bad. So I fixed this little thing. So here, broken dark variation on Linux was fixed. Nice. Now today, sorry, wrong click. Fix intermittent tests fail on macOS. I think these also was just approved. Yes, check-in needed TB. So also this one has been fixed, which is great. Intermittent test fail, perfect. Next up, we have the multiple folder view, and this is heavy. It's not easy. Let me grab a couple of questions here. We have, hello. How many beautiful people we have here. Hello, Sharif. Hello, Louise. Hello, Henry. Another day of paradise here. Yeah, here in Italy's late evening. Yeah, Henry. Where are you from, Italy? Oh, hello, Chris. Long time in the chat. Greetings to you. Devin asks, will you be continuing your Vala tutorials? Yes, I just published a vlog update 3 or 4 days ago to let you know the status of the channel, why I haven't been uploading tutorials and what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into the game. My mental health situation is not top notch right now. It's not the best. So I'm a bit struggling in continuing this endeavor, but I'm trying to get back into a sort of like a normal regular schedule. But yeah, let's continue with our work. So first of all, because that patch landed, now I will remove it. And my tree now, it's completely clean of any patches. All these are all the patches I'm currently working on, and when are gray, we're using Mercurial as a version control system. When are grayed out, it means they are not applied. I need to work on the folder view. So what I have to do, I have to update the order of patches here. I do it brutally like this, and then I can see that it's updated. Okay, perfect. So one thing. Oh, Henry is from Lecce. Beautiful place. I used to spend my vacation my summer vacation when I was 10, 11 in Lecce. Beautiful, beautiful seaside. Wonderful town. Lovely memories. So this bug. This is not a bug, it's a request of an enhancement, so it's not something that it doesn't work, but it's something that would be nice for the users. Users are asking, and this is a 6 years old bug, so yeah, we're fast. Is asking to allow pinning multiple folder views to the top of the folder pane. So let me show you what it means. I have a clean slate, so let's rebuild our little software right here. And by the way, you don't always need to rebuild the software, especially if you do like small JavaScript changes or if you do some small CSS changes. You don't need to rebuild and recompile. You can just launch it immediately. But since I had a patch that had a lot of different JavaScript changes, different conditions, and then I removed the patch, the source code changed in quite different places. So it's always better to rebuild it, and it takes like 13 seconds. So it's not a big deal. Okay, so the users are asking something like that. So in the folder pane here, this is like the list of folders. So far you can have just one view. You have different type of views. This is like the regular old folder views, but for example, if we want, let me open the menu. If we want, we can enable the folder pane toolbar that allows you to change what view you want to have. You want to have all the folder, or you want to just list all the unread folders, or you want just your favorite folders. Unified folders is a weird view which unifies all the inboxes, all the drafts, all the things. Like, we have all different views, which is kind of handy sometimes, but it's kind of annoying that, for example, if a user wants, I want to always have all my folders at once, but also I want to have the favorite folders on top. So I have a list of like 2 different lists that are organized, or I have all the folders and the unread folders always on top. So whenever I have a new email, the unread folders just jumps on top immediately. It's easier to see. So this is a good request, and it's almost working. It was super challenging to have it because I wouldn't call it outdated code. It's not outdated. It's a very old code. Like, the folder pane was built pretty much on the first version of Thunderbird like 20 years ago or something, and that code hasn't been changed. It hasn't been updated in probably 15 years. So rebuilding the whole section, it took me a lot of time, but it's almost there. There are some changes that needs to be done. So I have a patch, I'm gonna push it, I'm gonna compile, and while it compiles, I need to compile it because I changed a lot of things. Luis asks, can you speak Italian? Of course I can speak Italian. I am Italian. I was born in Italy. I lived in Italy since I was 27. Then I moved to Canada when I was 27. Certo, parlo italiano. Italiano è la mia prima lingua. Parlo meglio italiano dell'inglese, però se parlo italiano nessuno mi capisce. So yeah, I'm gonna speak English at all. A couple of questions. Come spend some other vacations here. I would love to spend some vacation in Salento. Salento, it's beautiful, beautiful place. But his Thunderbird built in JS. That's a beautiful thing about Thunderbird. So Thunderbird, it's mostly built in C, in C++. We have a lot of C++ code. For example, if I do CPP, we have a lot of like the basic functionality, like the mail folders, the IMAP server, like all the things that connect to the email and check everything. It's mostly built in C++ because all those, especially their like very important core part, they need to be fast. They need to be like low level coding language, very close to the CPU. So C++ is faster as hell. But the fact that Thunderbird is literally built on top of Firefox. It's Firefox with a layer of JavaScript on top, because Firefox is a browser and a browser runs JavaScript. So if we create an interface on top with some JavaScript code, Firefox will run that JavaScript code. And it's very easy to tweak. It's very easy to integrate. We have some bridges between JavaScript, some interfaces between JavaScript and C++ in order to use some C++ method and call them from JavaScript. But that allows us to basically have an Electron app that is not really an Electron app because it's a native C++ app that runs some JavaScript code internally just for sort of interface functionalities or some other side functionalities, or some of them are integrated into code. And the fact that Firefox is improving JavaScript a lot, is improving the speed and the security and the performance of JavaScript in itself, in the core of Firefox, we automatically inherit all the benefits of those improvements. So it's phenomenal. It gets better and better. So yeah, it's okay. App Android ITA. Are you Italian? Because Alessandro is an Italian. Yes, I'm Italian. Kind of question is that? No, it's okay. Okay, so get back to the coding part. We just compiled. If we run Thunderbird, let's check the situation that we have right here. So now, as you can see, we have a little new folder header with this little pop-up panel that appears. You can hide and show the toolbar if you don't like this toolbar here, but you can hide it, or you can even show it here. Folder pane toolbar. I need to access the menu, but here you can toggle on and off all the different views. For example, now I have the all, I want the favorite, I can check the favorite and automatically adds it, and I can have the unread as well on top. So this is the situation. This is the code that I've been working and implementing, and you can see, actually I can show you in this bug because I have a partially reviewed code. You can see the thing that I had to do here. I had to rebuild a lot of stuff. I have to delete and recompile everything and change the logic, because before we were supporting one simple mode. We called it a display mode. Instead, now we use a bunch of active modes, which is an array, and we need to detect if in that array we actually have a mode that matches the modes that we currently have registered, because Thunderbird also has add-ons, and add-ons can add extra modes. So sometimes if a user is using a mode and then the add-on is disabled or the add-on doesn't load, we need to check if the mode is still available. Otherwise it won't load anything, it crashes. So we need to do a lot of crash. But you can see, like, just to have the little thingy functionality, just, yeah, give me an extra view and an extra view. Look at all the shit that I had to do. Look at all this, blah, 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 poof. And as you can see, like, this, yeah, it's, yeah. You can go check the bug if you wanna read it. But you can see how important it is to have a extra pair of eyes, or like even a 4 pair of eyes, or like 6 or more, like more than 1-2 people to review your code, because you don't, yeah, you can miss a lot of things. It's a lot of code, a lot of functionalities, and there are a lot of things that need to happen in order to make it work properly. But yeah, it works. It's here. So one thing that I did, and if it's gonna happen later, it's I removed actually, is the ability to reorder this thing, because right now basically this sorting order matches the order in which you enable and disable your options or your views or your modes. There's no possibility of manually reordering, but I had to do it because it was getting tricky. Like, this is another row, like item. I cannot have it clickable, because if you click, nothing shows here. Whenever you click something, here it shows the options. But yeah, if you click on this, nothing happens, which is obviously because you cannot select an header and have something show here. So it's kind of complicated. There are some like edge cases that still need to be properly investigated, but it's kind of working. So I have a couple of fixes that I have to implement on this in order to complete it. But let me check a couple of extra things. Oh, we currently have 58 people. Wow, that's a lot. Hello, say hi to everyone. Is the chat still going? It seems that it was frozen. Is it frozen? I don't know. Write something. Tell me something in the chat and let me know what you guys think. Let me close here. Pop-up chat. So quiet. Hey. Okay, so what is ready? I thought like the stream just crashed because no one was ready in the chat. Usually it's like a constant ready, but yeah, you don't have to write. I thought, yeah, the stream crashed. All of a sudden I was just talking to myself and I didn't notice. So yeah, I just wanted to check the health of the stream. It looks good. It looks good. So let me start fixing this bug because I have some good reviews here. Okay, so boom. What we have to do here, what do we have to do? We have to fix a bunch of things. So first of all, we have in our folder pane, which is the main JavaScript file that takes care of all the good things that we implemented. We wanna update the comment here. Remove duplicates both, store in the Zool. We don't use Zool anymore, so just remove duplicate modes. Writing comments is really important because this is like a massive code. So whenever you do something that is not super intuitive, like if you have some very simple things, like you don't have to write a comment and say, hey, let's check if the active modes have any attribute in it, any element. This is pretty obvious, but if you're doing a filter here to return something, it's better to specify why you're doing the filter if it's not immediately clear. So we try to write as many comments as possible to make it easier for another developer. Especially there are a lot of not a lot, we have like 12 developers working on this, so if someone touches someone else's code, it's always better to have as details as possible, like detailed comments, so you can check what someone else did and write it here. We're using the unique modes, but we can simplify it by reusing the same variable name and filter it out. So we're grabbing all the modes that are stored in our tree element in our HTML as an attribute. We split them by the comma and then we filter them to see if we have any duplicate, because sometimes it might happen, especially during transition, that you have multiple modes stored at the same time. We just want to clean up and avoid issues, so we remove the unique modes. We just use the modes here. We check everything. Okay, we don't have any unique modes anymore. Then we can simplify some simplify this for loop. So this is kind of okay. We're looping through all the modes, seeing if a mode is not in one of our default modes. So we have these, when we use the underscore here is for a private variable, a private attribute. We have this private array which contains all the available modes. So all the modes that we currently support here, and I can show you. Yeah, this is like we have all the modes that are like all, and then we have the favorite, like all the modes that they have basically a method that allows us to generate the map of the modes. So here we are basically we're checking, being sure that we have something to generate that specific mode. If we have a name that doesn't match any mode, we just remove it. And then I'm pushing the mode that it's correct, is not being skipped, inside the active modes, all those active modes that we can actually activate or deactivate. But this is not super clean, and we can simplify it a lot with simple JavaScript. So something that we can do, we can just literally grab the active modes array, and we can filter the result of our modes. So we grab the modes that are here that have been already filtered by removing the duplicate, and then we do another filter to see if the mode that we are checking right now is in the available array of modes or object of mode. This is an object. If you use in, it's inside an object. So we basically simplified all these for loop with a condition by using just one simple line of JavaScript. Modes, it's filter. We filter all the modes. For every modes that we are inside here, if the modes is inside the available modes object, we return it and we store it into the active modes. So it's super clean, super easy, and we leave the comment here to let the users know. Let's see here. Oh, we have so many questions just listening. Echo hello world. Yeah, good. How long have you worked for Thunderbird? Almost 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years in March. 1 year something. We're listening. Object, yes. Hello, late. Will you post this video in channel? Yes, Wire. This video will be available after a few hours after the live streaming is ended. So do you write code in C++? I do sometimes. I tweaked a bunch of things, especially when I need to create attributes or very simple things. I'm not very good at C++. I studied at the university and then never used it daily. I can read it mostly, but I'm not great. So yeah, I try to stay away from the C++. We have C++ developers in the core team. Philip, Phil filmed. Sorry. Seems counterintuitive to combine a lower language like C++ with a high interpreted language like JavaScript, but in this case, it's a good idea. Yeah, I agree. At first, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But then you start working on it and you understand the benefit. Also, since Thunderbird is an open source project, the fact that the front end, the UI, or the majority of the front-facing aspect of this software is built in JavaScript, and we don't use any framework, so it's just vanilla JavaScript. It's very easy to tweak it. It's very easy to the entry point is very low. It's not a steep curve to learn it. A lot of contributors can easily help us to fix things. So it doesn't require a massive knowledge base of C++ or anything. So it's a very good thing. It's incredibly a very good thing. Chris asked, any plans to migrate to TypeScript? We had something in mind. There's Firefox. We mostly follow the Firefox team, what the Firefox team does. If they implement something and they update something, then we tag along, so we inherit all their tools and all their compiling things. For now, we just use plain JavaScript, and then when we have some complicated methods, we use JS docs for the parameters and things, so we don't type in stuff most of the time. But yeah, it's being considered. I think there are a couple of developers that actually use TypeScript in some places, but I'm not super sure. But it's being considered. That would be dope. Louis asks, how many years took you to achieve that level of really knowing what you are doing? Infinite amount of years. I still don't know what I'm doing, Louis. I'm still mostly... It's a matter of repetition. It's a matter of like you start working on something and you keep working and working and working. And you do it or do it or do it. You keep doing it, and after you keep doing it for a very long time, you kind of feel comfortable in understanding better. Like it's more than knowing what you're doing. It's understanding the code. Instead of like I don't remember these things by heart. I don't remember, I can use a filter to filter everything. I have a hint of, maybe I could use a filter, but then I do a search, a DuckDuckGo search, not a Google search, on my Firefox browser. And I search like JavaScript modes, JavaScript filter, and I see the documentation of the JavaScript filter and how to use it properly. I kind of have these hints, or I can read the code and I can kind of understand, maybe we can simplify it, but I don't remember, like I don't know everything by heart. Like I don't memorize methods and function. I don't memorize things. It's impossible. So it takes time. And also these changes that I'm doing are coming from the review that I had here. So this is the technical director that I submitted my patch, and he did a very thorough review of all the things that I have to do. So it's mostly the quality of the things that we do are because multiple people are working together to review each other patch. And without that, it would be pretty hard for me, especially something like that. It's mostly like code styling, and we try to keep a consistent code styling throughout the application, so we don't have different styles or different approaches whenever we write a patch. It's mostly managed by the technical director and others. We try to keep it up, but yeah, it takes time. Franz asked, what can you advise someone who Franz, I'm gonna answer to you like later, because I need to finish this batch. Sorry. Okay, so we have these, which is very good, and I think if I remember correctly, I have other for loop that I can change. So for example, if I search for let mode, or these active modes, yes, this is remove modes that don't exist anymore. This might happen if an extension is disabled, or we can filter the same thing. So these active modes, it's equal to, we don't have the modes, it's these active modes, filter. So yeah, since we are in an array here, what I was doing, I was looping through the array, and if the mode wasn't in the available modes, I was just grabbing the position of the index of and then splice it to remove it from the array. But if I just filter it in the mode itself with a JavaScript filter, and this is like the filter, it's a vanilla JavaScript, like it's an array iterator, array manipulator, how do you call it? I don't know the correct name, but this simplifies a lot of things, which is phenomenal. Then we need to write some documentation here, because we use Fluent for the strings. So our strings are all translatable. They can be translated in all the languages that you want. And here we have a mode, loop through all the modes and create the necessary buttons. And the technical director asked, list the values in a comment, so it's easier in the future to find where they are and that they are still used. Okay, so let me grab these folder label, and let's check where I wrote here. Okay, in the messenger, so we have the show all on read favorite smart. So all on read favorite smart recent. This is not used anymore. Compact toggle view, we don't support a compact mode anymore because it's silly. Loop through all the modes, and let's write them here. Boop. We have a linter that automatically formats everything for us, but sometimes it poops itself and just creates all these. Actually, let's write it here. Available modes. Let's do this. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, let's do something like this. Available modes, all read, favorite, smart, and recent. So we are sure that these are the modes that should be still supported and available. Perfect. In target value. Then we need to add some comments here. Include modes, header, get row, get properties. Okay, on drag and drop. Okay, yeah, so another thing here. So all those rows, like all those folders and sections that you have in the folder pane can all be dragged and drop on top of each other or in other sections, so you can organize your folders the way you want. Of course, we don't want that users accidentally drops an email folder or whatever folder on top of a header mode that it says like all folders or the favorite. Like if you drop it on top of there, for now we don't want to allow that because this is the first iteration of many other bugs. Like in the future we will allow that. If you drop it on top, it will add it just underneath, but for now, just to avoid to introduce bugs or destroy something, we check if the row, the current folder that we drop it on top or we drag it, is a mode header. If it's a mode header, that's the unique property that we assign to those specific rows. If it's a mode header, we just interrupt the drag and drop event. So here we write a comment said interrupt if the folder target is mode header. Okay. Okay, then there are some string translations that need to happen, but that's something that I'm gonna do later. So now we update all these things, we can compile once again and see if we broke something. Did we break anything? Okay, so far so good. Maintain our selected modes. It maintained the options here. We wanna check the customize folder pane toolbar. Okay, we can remove, and read, toggle. If we toggle fast, nothing happens. Okay, all these things that I'm doing manually, then we will build tests to do it automatically. So the software will automatically, whenever we push a patch, automatically will test that when you click on something, the actual mode appears. So like it's gonna be all covered by tests. So this is the first step. Since we're adding a new feature, a new functionality, the first step is to add the functionality, then add a test to cover the functionality, and then iterate with smaller patches, because this could have a million other functionalities, a million other features to make it better, to make it more modular, but it takes a lot of time. And also reviewing massive patches, like very large patches, it's very difficult. So it's better to have small simple patch that another developer can review quickly. And if something goes wrong, you can back it out. You can just remove it from the source code because it's a very small patch. If we create one single patch with everything in it, it's just massive. Everything lands all together, and if something's broken, it's just terrible. So yeah, this works. It's great. So let's refresh this. Oh no, I did a mistake. I updated I used the QRefresh it's okay. It's not a big deal. I can fix this. What was the original message? Allow pinning, yeah. Edgy QRefresh. This is the right one. Allow showing multiple folder views in the folder pane. And now let's do a QRefresh simple. So whenever I do QRefresh, it doesn't autocomplete with the commit message update. Yeah, sometimes happens. And we can do a qdiff to see that everything has been correctly stored. Yeah, this is a massive update. Okay, we're good. We're good. A couple of a small preview. So this is a work in progress to improve the folder pane. This is like the old folder pane. It's very squishy. It's very just all tied together. The icons are very old. They don't update. They don't apply to the dark mode. Especially like these are the Linux icons, but Linux doesn't have icons. Like every single distribution or like desktop environment, they have their own icon set. That's why we decided to have a more unique and consistent brand identity with our own icons that we can manage, we can control, and you can color customize, and they adapt better to the dark variation, all this good stuff. But this is just the first step. We understand, like I understand that this is not an optimal solution, unfortunately. Like everything is very close together, especially if you have many open folders here. Everything gets a little bit out of hand, right? It's hard to see, hard to manage. So we want to iterate more and improve the customizability of this section. So I'm going to show you a little something that I did, a mockup for future reference or something. Thunderbird UI. I created this beautiful file here. I don't know if you can see it. It's loading so fast. Where we have the full interface. We have some, yeah, I use this file to create the interface to do mockups and check different things. So here, if we access the mockup section, look at that. You have some very sweet preview. This is a glimpse of hopefully future plans. So first of all, one of the many plans is to allow user to define the density of the folder. So you can have a compact density. It's basically like the default one. Default density to separate better the folders, or a relaxed density. If you have like 5 different folders or like 2 accounts with few folders and you want to spread them out to be easily selectable, you will be able to do it. Another thing that we want to implement to the drop down is adding more options. So you can select different views like all folder, favorite, blah, blah, blah. You can change the density. You can change the color theme, or sorry, the color themes of the different folder styles. You can move up and down, like if you have multiple views, multiple modes, then you'll be able to put the favorite on top, all folders on top, like change it or show the total count. And these are some previews of some styling that we would try to have. So if you have like the favorite and the all folders here, show you like this, you can show the counter. We want to round them up in 1,000, so it's 2.5K. You don't have this massive long number that it's hard to read. When you receive a new email, we want to implement this style. And then we want to probably, this is under consideration, this is something that add-ons developer can already do. It's very simple since we updated the source code of like the CSS code of the folder pane. As add-ons developers, you can create one CSS file in your add-on and tweak entirely this section the way you want. It's very easy to do it, but we are thinking maybe we can offer by default into core different variations of folders. Like right now we ship them by default that are not colored, to have like a very simple and clean interface. Here we can implement some default colors to better separation. We can implement like a box type of style, or we could have like full-on SVG properly styled, to have like a better visual separation of all the type of folders or type of rows. So this is something that we are considering, but it's a slow process. Like each of these things will probably take a few weeks, even more, just to first implement the density, then cover it with tests, then ship a beta for testing, then do something else, and blah blah blah. So it's very it's a very slow process. It's something that it's gonna take a while, take a lot, but we're getting there. But do you guys use Thunderbird? You should. You should definitely use Thunderbird. Okay, questions time. Let me switch to full. Oh my god, the green screen thing is horrible now. Oh, yuck. Okay. Question time. We have some question here. Okay. France asks, what can you advise someone who stopped programming for about 15 years and want to get back on track? Just pick something very simple. Like what did you used to program? Like, did you code in a specific language 15 years ago? I don't know, like C, PHP, or stuff like that. Depends. Like, it depends on what you feel comfortable with, and depends what you know. But I would say JavaScript is almost a safe bet. Like now, the entire internet just runs on JavaScript. If you're more comfortable with the backend, you could go with .NET or Chris. Chris is it's extremely knowledgeable in that area. You could go with PHP, learn Laravel, or I don't know. I would like, the only advice I would give you is don't start with a framework. Like, don't say, okay, I'm gonna learn React, or I'm gonna learn Vue.js, or I'm gonna learn Laravel, or I'm gonna learn Ruby on Rails. Just start with the basic. Restart with the basic of JavaScript, because frameworks can change. That's also why in Thunderbird we don't use a framework. We don't use React or Vue.js, because those things can disappear, can die from a day to another, or can lose momentum, can lose trend, something can happen or whatever. So we use like the vanilla, globally supported by every possible operating system or browser ever. So that's the suggestion I would give you. Louis asks, Chris Perko just did a great moderation job by hiding a stupid user that wanted just too annoying. So thank you, Chris. Louis asks, do you know if you need a bachelor's degree to work in Canada as a developer? Not really. It depends. I don't really know, actually, because if you're applying for a working permit, I think you do. I think you need to have some specific qualifications. But to be hired, actually, like for me to arrive here, I needed to apply for a work permit, and they asked for my previous qualifications and things in my field, because I was applying as a skilled worker, as a developer. But to actually be hired to work, they don't really care about your qualifications. They care about the work that you do. They care about the code that you shared on GitHub or the projects that you worked on before. So don't focus too much on that. If you have someone that wants to hire you, it's more important. Can you suggest me any good C++ project? Firefox. just contribute on Firefox. Sharif, what is the app you're using for managing the to-dos? Is Notion? Oh no, it's this one. It's Planner, an elementary OS app. I think it's available also for Flatpak. Planner is created by this super amazing guy, Alain. Yeah, it's an open source application. You should definitely check that out. It's an amazing app. I like it so much. I have all my to-dos. I use it here, and it's slick as hell, and it's fast. You can connect it to Todoist, so you have like backup. It's amazing. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, no, the streaming is ending in a couple of minutes because I have other things to do. I have to fix other bugs and do other more complicated things. So yeah, it's gonna take a bit. But what else? Chris says, yeah, learn the basic of a language before any frameworks. Yes, absolutely, 100%. So I think that's gonna be the end of the streaming. We did almost an hour of streaming. Oh, wow, beautiful, beautiful. Well, this was just a quick glimpse on what I do all day at Thunderbird. I just check bugs, fix things, try to implement new things, get assaulted by users that don't like the things that I do. But yeah, it's okay. So you guys let me know in the comments below if you would like to see something more specific. Maybe you want to see the testing side of things, or like the submitting a patch or landing a patch, or whatever other aspect, or maybe also like how to set it up, how to compile it, how to open it, how to start creating a patch for yourself, how to hack it. Let me know if you're interested in any of that, or you're interested in seeing the mockups or the future plans of our application, of all the things. Maybe next time I can show you the compose window and the attachment pane. Like, we're doing a lot of improvements in the compose window to make it faster, more modern, more accessible. So probably next time I'll do it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you guys so much for participating. We had almost 90 people all together watching the stream, which is fantastic. So yeah, leave a like and subscribe, and new tutorials are coming soon. But yeah, have a great rest of the day. Bye.